Hello everyone, welcome you all to the investment management class. I'm Imba Bilyappa, Associate Professor, Department of Management Sciences, Maharaja Institute of Technology, Mysore. Previously, we have done the theory of Unit 3. We have started Unit 3 in which we have done the valuation of securities and we learned the meaning of bond. We came to know about the bond features, types of bonds and determinants of interest rates and also the factors affecting the interest rates. In today's class, we'll be discussing the bond management strategies, bond valuation and bond duration. These are the three topics which we'll be dealing in today's class. And also to tell you, we begin with the meaning of the bond and meaning of the valuation of securities, where we have to value the securities in order to know the future worth of that particular security. Or else if you need some money in the future, how much should you invest today in order to get the money in the future. And also the bond, which is a long-term debt, which is like a fund for the companies in order to run their business. And we also learned the types of bonds, where we learned about zero coupon bond, floating bond, guarantee bond, fixed rate bond. These are the different kinds of bonds the secured bond which we discussed in the previous class. And also we learned the determinants like time, coupon rate. Time is nothing but the duration, coupon rate, the face value. This will all influence the rates which is determined, okay, the interest rates. Okay. In today's class, we'll begin with the bond management strategies. So if you want to manage a bond, you need to use certain strategy which is very useful for you all in order to keep your bond money safe. Okay. In order to do that, there are three sets of strategies. We call it as passive strategy, semi-active strategy and active strategy. So you know the meaning of active and passive. So in between you get is the semi-active strategy. So in passive strategy, there are two types of strategies in it. One is the buy and hold strategy and another one is the ladder strategy. Okay. And the second one, that is semi-active strategies, you have two. That is you have three. That is duration, dedication and immunization. These are the three types of semi-active strategies. And last one is active strategies. In active strategy, you get sector and asset substitution, maturity adjustment, quality diversification and coupon adjustment or yield substitution. So these are the different types of subtypes of the types, that is the passive, active and semi-active. In detail, we have to learn this. This is one of the important question which comes for your exam. The first one is passive strategy. Okay. Among the first passive strategy is the buy and hold strategy. Means you need to buy a security and hold it for a period of time. That is buy and hold strategy. So a buyer will buy the securities and hold it until the maturity or redemption. Okay. Redemption or maturity means after the bond term of the bond completes, we call it as maturity or redemption, and reinvest the cash proceeds in the similar security, that we call it as buy and hold strategy. And there are certain advantages and disadvantages too in this. Advantages is any capital change resulting from the interest rate change is neutralized or ignored. Okay. Any change in the capital resulting to the change of the interest rate, that is not considered. That is an advantage. Okay. And also is the income, those who are expecting, the investors who are expecting for a maximizing of income, who expect that we should get more income or more return, they are interested in such kind of coupon income over the desired horizon, like whether it is a time of 5 years, 10 years. After that, they expect more income in the form of coupon rate. Okay, that is buy and hold strategy. You hold the stock or hold the bond. Here we are speaking about the bond. Here hold the bond until the maturity. Okay, the next one is the bond ladder strategy. Okay, second strategy in passive strategy is bond ladder strategy. Bond ladder strategy means it is building a bond ladder, means buying bonds which are scheduled at different dates, maturity dates for the future. Suppose, to give an example for this, if a bond is maturing after 2 years, another bond is maturing after 2.5, another bond is maturing after 3.5, like this, you set a ladder where you can climb, and you're having different maturity rates, maturity dates. Okay, it differs in months, years, depending on the investor, how he wants to wish. That is the ladder strategy. Rather than maturing it in the same year or the same month, you buy the bond in such a way that it matures in different time. Okay, and this process is known as laddering, where they represent the investment on a maturity ladder. Okay. There are certain advantages and disadvantages on this too. Advantages, it's always keeps you safe when there is fluctuation in the interest rate. If one bond is having a different interest rate, the other bond will be having a different interest rate. So automatically your difference in the interest rates is advantageous. Okay, either it is not, if an interest is less, then obviously the other bond will have a higher interest rate, or it is vice versa. And also it is who needs the large amounts of money on an available for a future date, for example kids education, or anything like this, because every year you need to pay the fees, or school fees or tuition fees. So automatically if you take a bond initially of such kind, it will mature every year. If you have taken 5 bonds for 5 years in a different consecutive years, then automatically you can buy those bonds, and after it matures you can use it for a particular purpose. Okay, children's education, if someone is looking for such kind of option, they can go for such bonds. And disadvantages are also there. Disadvantages are like, if you are making investment with small amount of money, it doesn't make any use of it, or doesn't make any sense of it. If you are investing large amount of money, it will be helpful for your future, but small amount of money, it is not. For small amount of money, this strategy is not that useful. Okay, and if interest rates fluctuates a lot, and investors would have been better off if they get long term bonds, if such kind of mentality is there, like in long run if they get more interest rates or something like that, then it is not useful for them much. Okay, these are the two disadvantages of the first strategy, which is the second one in the first strategy, that is the ladder strategy. So in passive you have learned two. One is the buy and hold strategy, and another one is the ladder strategy. Let's go to the second set of strategies, which is semi-active strategy. So there are three in this semi-active strategies. One is the duration, another one is the dedication, and another one is the immunization. Let's begin with the first one, which is the duration. So I am covering the duration of the bond here itself. Okay, so pay attention. So duration is a concept which means the weighted average measure of a time period of a bond's life. Like at what period, what is the weighted average period of that particular bond, that we know it as bond duration. The valuation of this bond changes responding to the interest rate changes. Okay, as the interest rate changes, the bond duration also changes. So we have problems on this too. So we'll be doing the problems shortly. And the properties, the features of this bond is where high coupon rate results in shorter duration. If the coupon rate is high, interest rate, what we call, that itself is the coupon rate. If the coupon rate is high, then it is for shorter duration and less volatility, and vice versa. If the coupon rate is if the coupon rate is low, then it is longer duration with more volatility. It's vice versa. Okay, and also the bonds which has no coupon rate, the duration is equal to the maturity period. The maturity period and the duration of the bond, it is one and the same if a bond is not given with the coupon rate. Okay, and higher YTM leads to shorter duration. That is what YTM is, means it has yield to maturity. Okay, and yield to maturity and duration have interlinked, they have connection. Okay, the duration of a coupon bond increases with the decrease in the rate and maturity, that we all know. So advantages of this bond is it studies the effects of the changes between interest rate and bond prices. So what is the relationship between the bond price and the interest rate? The relationship between these are studied in this particular bond duration, and you have problems also. When we do the problems, you'll be able to practically observe that how an higher interest rate will reduce the duration of the bond. Okay, the next is dedication, the second strategy in semi-active strategy. So dedication is concerned with financing a stream of liabilities over time. So you have a stream of liabilities and financing for it is dedication. The purpose of dedication is to fund a sequence of liability payment as they come with no interest rate risk. As they don't have any interest rate risk, you need to pay to the liabilities. You are making an arrangement to make the payment for the liabilities, that is called the dedication. There are certain steps which need to be followed in order to have this dedication. The first step is you have to have a limited payment stream is determined, like how much you need to pay for that particular liability. A limited payment stream is to be set, and bond universe is selected according to the quality criteria. Okay, so it is not that any bond is selected. There are rating agencies who will rate the bond. Based on those rating, you select a bond which has a very good quality. So based on the quality criteria, they select the bond, and investors' objective and constraints are identified. So I have told you the investment objectives in the unit 1, where risk is one of the objective, return is one of the objective, safety of the fund is another objective. Like this, each investor's objective will be different. Okay, based on the investor's preference, the objective is sorted, and based on that, an optimum portfolio is constructed of the bonds. So that is the format of bond dedication. Okay, the third among the second strategy is immunization. So what do you mean by this immunization? Immunization is where there is change in the shape of the term structure and there is changes in the level of interest rate. So investors can face any kind of interest rate risk. To eliminate these risks, bond immunization is important. So we don't know. So there are lot of changes in the interest rates which is happening. So you can't predict that the interest rate will be stagnant. So in order to avoid these fluctuations, in order to avoid this risk, we need to do the bond immunization. So immunization is a process where the investment of an asset is made in such a manner that the existing business is immunized to the general change of rate of interest. The rate of interest will not affect the bond much. Okay, so it is the average of duration of assets which is equal to the average duration of liabilities. They are striking a balance of the assets and liabilities. And this there are two types which can be made. One is the price risk and another one is the coupon reinvestment risk. Okay, there are two types in this immunization which we are heading of the interest rates. Okay, how you can take the interest rate risk. So price risk in the sense where due to the decrease in the price, okay, the value of the bond will result to an interest rate in the market. Okay, where I'll repeat once again, listen carefully, the price risk occurs due to the decrease in the price or value. The whatever value or price of a bond is there, if the price or value is been decreasing, then the price risk occurs, and vice versa. Okay, and coupon in reinvestment risk, we call it as CRR. It is different from the banking cash reserve ratio. Here CRR means coupon reinvestment risk. This is because the yield to maturity computation implicitly assumes that coupon flows will be reinvested at the promised yield to maturity. Like whatever coupon amount you are getting, that will be reinvested to the till the yield to maturity. That is another risk, which is coupon reinvestment risk. Here the entire price of the bond is not reinvested, only the coupon rate is reinvested. Okay, so that is related to the immunization. So three heads we have learned. One is the bond dedication, immunization and what is the second one? One is the dedication, immunization, and the second one is the bond related to the semi-active strategies. Okay, that is, I'm not getting it. Duration, yeah, the important one. We just skipped it. Okay, duration and immunization and dedication. So these are the three types in the semi-active strategy. Okay, the third one is active strategy. Active strategy has 4 heads in it. Let's begin with the first one. Active strategy means it is the under the first one, sector and asset substitution. Sector and asset, you know about the different sectors, like you have government sector, semi-government sector, or corporate bonds. Like this, there are divisions of the assets or of the sectors. So it's always better you invest in central government securities or any government securities which we call as gilt-edge securities, so that the bond is guaranteed safety and coupon rate is in time to time you get it. Okay, so that is sector and asset substitution. So you can among the bonds of the central government or semi-government or corporate bonds, invest in such a bond if you are risk taker. If you are risk taker, invest in such a bond which is yielding high interest rate. Okay, that's first. And then second one, maturity adjustment. So maturity adjustment is shortening the maturity when the interest rates are expected to raise. So if you have an expectation that in the coming future the interest rates will raise, then you can go for shorter term bond. Or else if you have an expectation that in the near future it is going to fall, then you can take the bond for longer term, so that it will be not that varying. That is maturity adjustment. And third one is quality diversification. Quality diversification means it is various grades of risk through expected and actual rating bonds by rating agencies. So you I've told you about the quality also, no, where that was one of the step in dedication. Okay, where you identify the quality of the bond based on the rating given by the rating agencies. I have told you about this. So there are rating agencies in BFS you have learned, where you have CRISIL, ICRA, like this you have different rating agencies which is going to rate the bonds like A, BB, B. Like this you have the rating. Based on that ratings, if A you get, then it is very good. Such kind of bonds you can find out and invest in that. So that types of bonds where the quality is good. Here we assess the bonds quality based on the timely payment of coupon rate, right payment of coupon rate, and timely maturity dispersion. Based on that, they decide the quality of the bond, how it is performing. Based on that, they decide the quality. Okay. The next is coupon adjustment or yield substitution. So bond with lower coupons are preferred if you are having a speculative capital gain or any losses aimed at. Like if you are into speculation of any particular bond, then coupon adjustment or yield substitution is taken, so that lower coupon bonds are preferred. Those are having less interest rate, to be straight and simple. Okay, they are preferred. So the 4 divisions of active strategies are sector and asset substitution, maturity adjustment, quality diversification, and coupon adjustment, or the same one is called as yield substitution. Okay, so here now we'll move on to the next, which is bond valuation. Okay, so bond valuation, on this you have problems, but as of now you learn the theory first. If you are strong enough with the theory, problem solving will be quite easy. So what do you mean by bond valuation? So bond valuation is a method to determine the value of the bond. Even when we discussed what is valuation of securities, we have just discussed about this meaning of bond valuation. Okay, bond valuation is a method to determine there is a fair value of, what is the fair value of the bond, and the bond's price is equal to the present value of its expected future cash flows. Okay, whatever future cash flows are there, expected future cash flows are there, it equals the present. Just now I told you in the beginning of the class that when you evaluate a bond, always you see that what do you need in your future, how much will you get in the future. That is one of the concepts where you're going to calculate the future value. Another one is where you're calculating the present value, means you need some amount in the future, then automatically you need to assess how much is required, how much need to be invested now. Okay, in order to do this, in order to evaluate a bond, there are steps which need to be followed. Like first step, you have to estimate the expected cash flows, means what are the expected cash flows. Suppose you invest 100 rupees today, in 5 years, what is the expected cash flow that you are going to estimate. Then determine the appropriate interest rate that should be used to discount the cash flow. So it is 5% bond, 10% bond, 8% bond. Like this, you need to determine the coupon rate at which the bonds have to be discounted. Okay. The next is calculate either present value of the cash flow or use appropriate interest rate in order to discount the expected cash flow. So just now I said, no, there are two ways. Either you can calculate the present value or either you can calculate the future value. Okay. So this is how you need to do the valuation of a bond. And you have problems in valuation of a bond, that is future value and present value, and also you have problems on bond valuation, that is bond duration. Okay, you have problems in both these two. And to do this, you need to understand what do you mean by bonds yield. Okay, what do you mean by bonds yield? There are different types of yield measurement. Yield is the income what you get out of a bond, and in order to get the yield, that is income out of the bond, there are three types, which three types of yield is there. One is yield to maturity, another one is yield to call, and another one is current yield. Okay, so yield to maturity, first one will depending on that only we'll learn. So here, the first one we'll discuss, that is yield to maturity. So under bond valuation, you need to understand bond yield. Under bond yield, there are three types: yield to maturity, yield to call, and current yield. The first one is yield to maturity. The name itself, it is there. Okay, you have to just understand the name, and then you have to do the problems. That's it. So yield to maturity. What do you mean by yield to maturity? Here, the discount rate until the maturity, what will be the yield you are going to calculate in simple terms. Okay, the discount rate used in the bond pricing formula is also known as bonds yield to maturity. Means in order to apply the coupon rate or discount rate, in order to apply the discount rate to calculate the value of the bond, you need to calculate the yield to maturity. Okay, whatever discount rate you apply, that is being calculated using yield to maturity formula. Okay, there are two types of yield to maturity formula. One is the regular yield to maturity formula, and another one is approximate. We call it as YTM, yield to maturity. Okay, approximate YTM and the regular YTM. Only in the question paper, if they ask approximate YTM, you have to do that, or else you have to do the regular YTM. Okay, and this equals the rate of return of the bond to the bond holders holding if the bond is held to the maturity. I have told you, the price of the bond and the bond's maturity value, that is the duration of the bond and bond's maturity value, if it is equal, then only it will match. Okay, so the bond is held till the maturity. That is one factor. If the bond is held till the maturity, then the rate of return of the bond and bond holder and the holding period return will be equal. Okay, and second condition is if the coupon payments are reinvested at yield to maturity. There only yield to maturity is calculated and the coupon amount is reinvested. That is the second condition. Third condition is yield to maturity of a bond can be determined on the bond's market price, maturity, coupon rate and face value. If they consider all these four factors and calculate yield to maturity, then it can be applied. Okay. Then if It is a compounded rate of return over the life of the bond, assuming that the coupon rate will be reinvested to the yield to maturity, then also it can be equal. In simple terms, if YTM of a bond in internal rate of return of investment is the bond. Okay, YTM of a bond is the internal rate of return of an investment of a bond. IRR, NPV, you have learned it in your FM, and in that also you have considered. So if you have to equalize, it is simple. YTM is IRR, simple terms. Okay, YTM is the rate of return which makes the theoretical price of the bond equal to its current market value. Whatever theoretical price is there, that is equated to the current market value. If these conditions are fulfilled, I have told you around 4 conditions. So if that is fulfilled, then it will be equal. So market price is equal to the present value of the cash flows. And yield to maturity, we have a revised yield to maturity also, like you have revised bond duration, where if the interest rate changes, what is the duration we calculate. In the same way, we have revised yield to maturity. So yield to maturity method assumes that there is immediate cash flows are reinvested to the YTM. If that practice of reinvestment of coupon rate is not there, then we call it as means the reinvestment of the intermediate cash flows are maybe high or low to the YTM rate. If it is different from the YTM rate, in such cases, revised yield to maturity is calculated. Amount is reinvested at the YTM rate. But in case if they give a different rate for the reinvestment of the coupon, that we calculate revised YTM. Okay, in this also you have problems, revised YTM. For this, first you calculate the future value of the reinvestment rate, and then you calculate the revised YTM, and see that either the present value or future value must be negative, or else one must be negative. If present value is negative, the future value must be positive, or vice versa. But any one of it should be negative. See that the present value is always negative. So negative value is considered for the cash outflow, and the positive values are calculated for the cash inflows. And also say that the entering of the semi-annual periods or coupon payments with semi-annual, quarterly, where semi-annual means in a year you get 2. In quarterly means you get 4. Like this, this also plays a major role calculating N for the purpose of calculating revised YTM or YTM for both the cases. Okay, this was related to the YTM. Next, we'll go to yield to call. Okay, so yield to call, the name itself is telling that whenever they call back the bond, the yield has to be calculated only till the call period. Here, any bond is callable. For a bond which is callable, means initially they'll quote that whenever the company feels that they are having good profits, a portion of their bonds can be called back and paid to the investors. That is known as callable bond. When I explained the types of bond, I have told you about the callable bond. Only for these callable bonds, yield to call is applicable. Okay, it's a measure where the return is calculated. The use of measure of returns is done instead of yield to maturity. Instead of yield to maturity, they calculate yield to call. Okay, it is quite similar. The computation and all, it is quite similar to the yield to maturity, except the maturity date. Even though the maturity date is after 5 years, if the bond is called back after 3 years, then you need to calculate yield to call only till 3 years. Okay, and that is the call date. And here yield to call is based on an assumption that the bond called on the next call date. Okay, it's based on an assumption that the bond will be called on the next due date. Immediately after 3 years, it will be called back on an assumption of basis that the bond will be called. And the face value will be replaced by the call price, since it is the amount of the investor which he'll receive when the bond is called. Okay, whatever face value we were putting, that will be replaced by the bond call price. means if the bond value is 100 rupees and the call value is 110, then we substitute the face value, that is whatever, if the bond face value is 100 and call value is 110, then it will be substituted with 110 rather than taking the 100. We will not take the face value, we will take the call value. And normally when the company calls back the bond, they call it at premium. It means the company is having good profits. So hence they would like to give more and take back their bond. So normally yield to call, in yield to call, the price of the bond which is called back, that is the call price, is known as is higher, that is at premium than the bond value. And next, third one, first one was yield to maturity, second one was yield to call, the third one is current yield. Okay, so current yield is measured as a ratio of bonds annual coupon rate to the bonds market price. So current yield means what is the immediate yield which you are getting. So here we are going to consider two parameters. One is the bonds annual coupon rate payment and also the bonds market price. So it only considers the coupon rate of interest towards the market price and does not consider any capital gain or loss during the time period of the bond. Like you had invested 100 rupees, you got 200 or 150. That time period calculation is not there. You only consider the coupon interest rates of the market price. Means it is only considering the market price. Okay, not gain loss of that particular period. And also ignores the time value of money, like after 5 years how much would you get, or to get 500 rupees after 5 years how much should you invest now. That kind of time value of money is not being calculated because it ignores time, capital gain, time value of money. These are the three things which it ignores and calculates only the current yield, means coupon rate at the market price. Okay, and the drawbacks of YTM is taken care by current yield. Okay, so these are the three topics which we have dealt in bond yield, which is related to bond duration. And the last topic for today is the risk involved in, you can write that, risk involved in I'll summarize and write. So the risk involved in calculation of a bond. So what are all the risk which occurs due to the change which will result in the changes on the price of a bond? To start with, interest rate risk. So interest rate risk, fluctuations in the interest rate will lead to the interest rate risk. A raise in the interest rates will decrease the market price of the bond and vice versa. Raise in the interest rate will decrease the market price of a bond. Interest rate risk is also called as market risk because that will be affected. Interest rate will be affected by all the factors which are there in the market. That is the reason it is also known as market risk. It is a market risk is a percentage of value of a bond that will respond to the change of the interest rate. So as the interest rate changes, how people respond towards it related to the bond value, buying and selling, that is interest rate risk. The second risk is inflation risk. Interest rate, normally it is defined on the base of nominal terms and the real rates should be adjusted by the expected inflation. Okay, according to the expectation of the inflation, whether it is rise or come down, based on that you have to make the adjustment. Changes in the inflation rate and bond prices are interrelated. Okay, bond prices and inflation are interrelated. So once the inflation changes, automatically it will have an impact on the interest rate and in turn it will have an impact on the bond price. And then in real interest rate risk, okay, the borrowers and lenders are exposed to a lot of changes in the real interest rate because depending on the demand and supply of funds. Simple. Okay, like if the demand is high, then interest rates will be high. If the supply is more and demand is less, then the interest rate will come down. Okay, default risk. Default means non-payment, those who don't return back the bond money. So non-payment, if the principal or interest or both, if it has not been paid, we put it as default risk. If all the things remain constant and bond carries a higher default risk, then people would tend to trade less. Okay, there is a low credit risk, the risk is high, okay, and default risk will lead to it. Okay. Next is call risk. Call risk means in case of callable bond, it is always on the issuer's part at what time they call back the bond. Okay, at what time they have to call it. Once they call back the bond, you need to pay it back. In such cases, investors have to face the risk of lower reinvestment rate. There will be nothing to reinvest, so they have to give back the bond. And next is liquidity risk. Liquidity risk means immediately once you want to sell the bond, you are not getting the liquidity. There is no buyer who wants to buy a bond. So due to this low liquidity of an investor, they may have to accept that discount over the current selling price. They might have want to sell the bond at a lower price, okay, and rather than getting the premium for that particular bond. Okay, then reinvestment risk. Yes, the risk of reinvestment of the periodical interest payment received from the bond is lower than the YTM. Whatever reinvestment you make, that is normally lower than the YTM. That is reinvestment risk. And foreign exchange risk, if you are trading with the bonds in a different country, that is foreign countries bonds, if you are taken, then if they are quoted with different, the exchange rate will influence, and quoted with lower prices, then foreign exchange risk prevails. So these are the different risks which are there, which should be taken care before investing in a bond. Interest rate risk, inflation risk, default risk, call risk, liquidity risk, reinvestment risk, and foreign exchange risk. Foreign exchange risk comes with the depreciation of the currency. Okay, so these are the things we have discussed in today's class. First we discussed the bond. Let's sum it up. Okay, first we have discussed the bond management strategies. In this we have learned 3 strategies: active strategy, buy and hold and ladder in that, and semi-active strategy. In that we have learned duration, dedication and immunization. And in active strategies we have learned 4, whereas sector, maturity adjustment, and coupon substitution, yields or yield substitution. These are the 4 types we have learned in this. And then we went to the bond valuation. In bond valuation we understood what are the steps we need to do and how should we calculate the future value and present value in bond valuation. And also we understood to do the bond valuation we need YTM, that is the bond yield, and yield can be calculated in 3 ways. One is YTM, that is yield to maturity. Another one is YTC, that is yield to call, and another one is CY, that is current yield. Nagesha will do problems on this. Okay, and next is bond duration. Bond duration is where you are calculating the bonds value, time period depending on the interest rate. So higher the interest rate, the duration also changes. Okay, it varies, higher and lower, vice versa. And next we discuss the different types of risk involved in bond calculation and holding a bond, that is interest rate, inflation, call, liquidity, reinvestment, default risk and foreign exchange risk. So this is what we have done in today's class. In the next class we will be doing the theory of preference shares and equity shares. Okay, how is its valuation going, what is its meaning, and what are the different types of preference and equity both. Okay, thank you for attending the class. See you in the next class.